We are getting this started. Hello, Emily.
Hey, Noemi.
So good to see you. See you
Miss you
in,
too.
I guess the background is New Jersey, New York City, New York City, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm hanging out here with one of my favorite hives. Yeah, in New York. I love it. And
Well,
where's yours?
mine is in Toronto, so on the Canadian ground. So
Love
yes,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
For everyone in joining us, thank you so much for being here today, for joining us in this practical walkthrough of our platform. Yes. I'm Naomi. I'm head of marketing and here at Alvéole in Montreal. And this is my colleague Emily. Emily, who has been with Alvéole for a good 9 years. Oh, there's an echo. Ooh, thank you for letting us know that.
Nice. I will say I'm not hearing an echo from your
Yeah,
speaking, Noemi.
thank you. If can anyone, no echo on my end, thank you so much for letting us know. Bridget, I am so sorry for this. This session will be recorded anyway. So if you guys, if it's too, I'm going to say, if it's bugging you, we'll send you the recording anyway so you can have that. And hopefully there's no echo in the recording either. But thank you for confirming. So what I was saying is that Emily's been with Alvéole for over almost 9 years, I believe. She started as a beekeeper and now she's leading our product team with all the new features and all the platform that we're going to go through today. We are expecting over a 90 participant today, which is, I think, one of our record in terms of webinars. So there's a lot of people
Mm.
are probably wondering what's behind Alveol and what can I do with this program that goes beyond just a beehive? And we're here
Yeah.
to answer those questions. If you guys in the chat room or our audience has any question, feel free to ask the chat. I'll be monitoring myself. And if we don't answer those questions during our walkthrough, we'll make sure to keep time at the end so we can answer any questions you may have. So, Emily, I think we can get started.
Awesome. That's great.
Super. So most of the people here, sign up for this webinar for one reason, get to know Alvéole beyond the beehive. So
Hmm.
let us know a little bit what your thoughts are, basically what you've been echoing from customers
Yeah.
that makes Alvéole so special and so different.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I'll mention quickly too, I started my journey with Alvéole as a full-time beekeeper. And it's really been, yeah, it's been about a decade that I've been with the company, and it brings me so much joy always to share the wonder of the honeybee hive with all of these awesome people that we meet in all of these buildings that we have our programs in. And yeah, I think often when people think about an alveol program, or they think about their own when they're getting started, it's easy to think that it's just about the beehive. It's just about the honeybee colony at the building. And it all starts with the hive. The hive is such an amazing hook. It has such a great story. It's unique and it's eye-catching and it's memorable. But really, the alveol experience is about the engagement that we build around the hive. And this is why we've built a whole platform, the alveol platform known as My Hive, around the hive itself and around all of that magic, fascinating, all those magic, fascinating qualities of the honeybee hive. Um, but yeah, but so like I said, the hive gives us a great story. It's memorable. It's exciting. It gives people in a building, I think, something tangible to kind of connect over and chat about, whether it be in the elevator or, the lunchroom. Um, but we know that interest alone doesn't always equal engagement. And so that led us to building this great platform that we're going to walk through today.
Absolutely. I think it's really easy in the comments, we're always getting from clients like, how can I make sure that I can report on the great benefits that
Hmm.
you guys are doing? How can I show either investors or owner that yeah, we have a big program and it's great because it helps us stand out, but like, is there any more data attached to it? And I think that's where the platform kind of comes into it and helps folks from real estate or even from companies, showcasing that there's real tangible engagement behind what we do. So it's not only great for nature and sustainability and local biodiversity, but also for the tenant engagement, and that's what we're here to showcase. More so, what we've been seeing in the past couple of months, or we'll say past years, is how can we use and leverage the beehive, as Emily said, to make sure that engagement happens all year long. So it's not only a temporarily or seasonal thing, but it just really happens on a 12 months, sorry, out of the year. And we've worked, and how we structure this presentation is to show you how you can use basically the platform that is MyHive to not only create engagement all year long, but also promote your program, report on it, and just make sure all the users internally in your company or in, like in your even portfolio can have access to all this great information. So Emily, let's get started with engagement.
Yes.
In the customer journey, or what we're seeing basically, so people will, our customer will sign up for the program. We'll have a local beekeeper coming on site, assessing the information, like where is the hive going to be put, but there's more to that,
Mm-hmm.
the platform. So show us a little bit what it takes for it to create engagement from day one.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start sharing my screen here so we can have a look at the platform
Mhm.
as we work through our different topics. But so you asked, yeah, so what does it take to create engagement year round? I think it takes three things. The first is that it really takes real life moments, which is something that our programs really excel at. We're great at creating these memorable real life moments of connection. Just through scrolling through this My Hive feed here, we can see so many great moments that are captured from the programs. Um, So inside the platform, maybe before I jump into how we can create these really great real life moments through our events, I'll mention quickly, this is the Alvéole platform. This is a MyHive page that we are looking at. For some folks tuning in today, this might be familiar. For others, this might be brand new.
Absolutely.
Um, there are two different views I'll mention of the platform. What we're looking at here is what you see as one of our partners, as someone who manages the bee program. You have this great sidebar here that lets you navigate between all of these awesome tools that you have at your disposal. And then we also have a public facing side of MyHive, which is your MyHive feed. And just in this tab here, I have what the view looks like for your tenants. So when someone signs on, or someone comes to check out your MyHive page, they will see this great feed of beekeeper updates. The beekeepers visit your hives every 2 weeks or so, every 3 weeks. Every time they come, they're going to be posting really awesome updates about what's going on with the bees and capturing other moments with your program. And there's a few different things that tenants can do when they arrive on the page, and we'll head into those in a second. But wanted to give everyone just a bit of grounding in what the platform looks like.
Amazing. So two views. We have a tenant and community view that you can share, which we'll show how in a minute. And then you have your basically management side of thing, which is like allow you to, again, book events, get some more stuff going. So, okay, amazing. We got it.
Exactly. So to create these real life moments, booking events is a really key piece of creating this engagement, creating that connection to the hive on site. And inside the platform, we have an event booking tool that is awesome. It's really seamless. With just a few clicks, you can get your event booked with no email back and forth with Teams. When you come into the events section, you are able to scroll through the really great topics that we offer. You're able to immediately see availability and get your event booked in. And you can do this very far in advance, or you can book something a little more imminent. So there you have it. That's one really fantastic way of creating these real life moments on site through the events tool.
Absolutely. Creating engagement from day one, basically with the program.
Hmm.
Um, Heard you. I think Earth Day is coming and Earth Month, I should say. So time is now. Time is of the essence to book your workshop and your event. You've seen great. We've all seen great picture there of like what an event could look like at Alvéole. So people, it's very tangible. It's very memorable. People talk about it. It's quite unique to be able to be holding beehives and not beehives, but I should say bee frame or bees
Yeah,
very close to you. So that really speaks to your sustainability initiative as well as like your engagement piece and how you create very special experience and within your building. So we've seen it a lot. Event is a great way to get those this engagement kind of going. Now to
100%.
how do we communicate? How do
Yeah. Great question. Yeah. So to create engagement, we need those real life moments. I think the second thing we need, yeah, is an easy way to communicate and create visibility for our program, for our community on site. And so we've built a really great tool that allows you to really easily invite tenants to your page, invite your community to your page, and start really generating momentum and increasing followers. So you can click a share button at the top of your feed. Here you can either manually enter main tenant contact emails or you can upload a list. So with just a few clicks, you can really generate awareness of your MyHive page within your entire building. And there's a little invitation here to customize your message, and this will shoot off a really awesome little invitation to your community on your behalf. So that's a really fantastic way of kind of kickstarting momentum with your page.
Amazing. So you get the program, you book your event, and then you basically announce that you're going to have bees to
That's
your
right.
community.
And I'll mention
Yes.
quickly too that once tenants, I'm just going to flip over here to this tab, this public facing tab. Once tenants arrive on the page, they're able to see those updates, but they're also able to register for upcoming events that you have. They're able to sign up to be on the honey list to say that they'd be interested in receiving a jar. That's another great way of creating buzz. And they're also able to see upcoming beekeeping visits, as well as sign up for regular updates. So lots of fun stuff for your tenants to do once they do arrive on the page.
Amazing. And I think it goes beyond email, if I'm not mistaken. Like we even design social posters and stuff that we're going to be
Mm.
talking very quickly in the promotion tool. Outside of this, Emily, I think we need to create engagement all year long. So what about continuity? Like how can we make sure that it's not a one-off event and we can continuously communicate the program, the initiative year long?
Yeah, absolutely. We really, yeah, emphasizing this engagement all year long is really, it's a big focus of ours. I think one of the main ways that we really keep tenants engaged and keep the bee program really, front of mind throughout the whole year is through these beekeeper updates. Uh, so as I mentioned before, they come really regularly. It's such awesome storytelling that takes place at your site. Every time they come to check out a new update, there will be a really nice little tidbit of kind of beekeeping information that we always get great feedback on, and we know that people love to connect over and share about. So every few weeks, your page followers are being brought back into the page to see what else has been taking place.
Amazing. So whenever the beekeeper comes, which is every 2, 3 weeks, they'll
Yeah.
post an update about the beehives, and then the tenant can see it, and you can see it as well. So basically, making sure that there's like not only continuous continuity, but everyone stays engaged.
Yeah.
And there's always new information going on. Amazing. And what I liked about this is like we worked really hard with property manager team to make
Mhm.
sure that these features that you guys are seeing are so easy to manage. So there's no extra work, no burden. It's fairly straightforward for anyone in within the company, even if you're not super tech savvy, to really use the features and make the best out of the program, which is amazing. Super. Let's talk about promotion. So, of course, like marketing background here, like how do I make sure that, I guess the best return on the buck, I make sure that my community is engaged. And I want to make as much noise as possible using the program. So show me the features, Emily, that are helping me do this.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, I think the Alvéole platform, the My Hive page, is such a dream from a marketing perspective. There's so much awesome renewing content here that teams can just really easily pull from, kind of plug and play.
Mhm.
So there's a couple really interesting features. We have a promo kit here that has lots of awesome pre-made templates that are great for helping you do a partnership announcement, great for helping you to advertise upcoming events that you have for all of the different topics that we offer. And so these are really built for plug and play. You can download the one that speaks the most to you. You can upload your logo, um, change the text. But some really awesome tools here. Also for your marketing teams, these resources can be really great at pulling some language or kind of giving cues for how to speak about your program if you want to work it into your own branding. But yes, we've got posters, social media templates, really a treasure trove of stuff here for communicating about your program. And we also have a integration kit. So this is a really awesome tool for integrating your Alvéole page into your existing tenant app. So again, with just a few clicks, you can really easily have your My Hive page accessible within your app, and this is a really great way to have your tenants discover the Bee program and to work in those regular updates that we mentioned.
Absolutely. I think in our roadmap, we have a VTS and VTS integration that's coming up and HQO as well too. So
Hmm.
I think one of the concern that we had, or one of the things that was coming back from property teams we work with, or CRE team, is that basically their marketing team has to populate the app with a lot of updates and stuff like that. So what we're trying to achieve here is to make sure that whatever post is coming from Alvéole, you can reuse on your tenant engagement app just to ease and take off some of the burden of your marketing team and use some of the content that we already produce at Alvéole so you can always continuously share your initiative and program.
Yeah. And I'll mention quickly as well, just on the topic of promoting, every one of
Yes,
our pages comes with a QR code. Um, Super straightforward, easy to download. And this is a great piece to include on signage throughout the building, on your digital screens. There's a lot of really great potential to kind of promote that page in a few different creative ways.
absolutely. I've seen it a lot on even social media. So people will download the social media, not the social media code, but the QR code, and then we'll put it either the link or the social media, like little QR code, sorry, on their social media, like advertising, so on and so
Yeah,
forth. So making sure you amplify here the traction you have with the program. So
that's
that's great.
right. And you mentioned data just at the top of being able to report on engagement with our programs, which we'll touch on in a second. But I wanted to mention that for those QR codes we provide for the pages, we're able to share back information on how many scans they received, et cetera. So we really try to enable that kind of tracking and data on our partner side as much as possible.
Yes. Emily, I think it's worth sharing the where all the photos are available. So like we
Yeah.
always get these questions from either social media team or even now sustainability leaders will like always ask for photos on where they can find asset for their sustainability reports, or like they want to report on the building initiative. So we've just built this feature that allows everyone to see the photo that's been taken at the building, and
Hmm.
and then download it very easily, so everyone can access it and reuse it for their own marketing or even marketing initiative, I should say.
Yeah, that's a great thing to highlight. Yeah. So the minute you click into any image that's been posted on your page, you get this great gallery view that opens up. You can instantly download any of these images. You'll see fun things here like spotting the queen challenges from your beekeepers. So there's lots of really great content here to really easily pull from and feed into your own pages or your own social media.
Absolutely. I think one of our key feature, or like what we aim to do this webinar around, Emily, is a brand new reporting function.
Hmm.
So something very new we came up with Alvéole. As some of you may know, we're on 2,500 buildings across many different portfolio, and we've just shared and released this feature that allows, I will say, property teams or ownership even to have a portfolio view of their entire Alvéole initiative. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we're so excited about this tool. It's very fresh. Yeah, we just released it a few weeks ago. So for those of you tuning in today who are more familiar with the platform already, this is a new, very fun thing for you to check out. So yeah, this is our dashboard feature. Really, the whole goal with this feature is to really help you and your team manage all of your Alvéole programs very easily at a glance in one place. It's a great tool, even if you only have dealing with this as well. Um, and this is especially useful for reporting upwards as well. So if you have a larger initiative with us, this is a great tool for folks at the asset management level as well. They can really get a kind of yeah, at a glance, sort of zoomed out view of their program and data. So you're able to see kind of your portfolio laid out here. You're able to easily navigate towards each of your pages. Um, we show you a synopsis here of your subscriber growth, how many events you have booked currently, the area that your bees pollinate, so some of that positive environmental impact. Similar to the gallery function that we were looking at just before, you're able to see a roundup of photos across all of the different pages that you manage. So again, for marketing teams reporting on wider initiatives across multiple buildings, this is a great resource. And this is also a great place to, yeah, come in and track whether you have events left to book at your properties. Like we saw, you can do that with just a couple of clicks if you see that you still have credits left to use. You're able to see growth. You're able to see all of the upcoming visits for a particular site. So if you're someone who's managing a program more at the property level, this is a really great resource for you to kind of plot out your beekeeper visits throughout the year, plan with your team. And throughout the year, we also make different reports available, engagement reports. And the minute that you have reports that are available to download, they appear in this tool as well. And you can export all of this information at any time if that is helpful for facilitating planning among your team.
Amazing. So super helpful. You get a portfolio view of your Alvéole program throughout, let's say, like the territory that you oversee or manage. And this view basically gives you access to the state of affair, I will say, of like how is your Alvéole program performing over the year. You get the photos for any of your, let's say, promotional material that you want to use. And you can really deep dive into each property, how they're doing, tracking, so on and so forth. So amazing.
And
Yeah,
one thing
yeah,
I
please.
realized that I forgot to mention earlier is that for each of your sites, when it comes to tenant engagement and participation tracking, you're able to see your list of subscribers at any point. So you're able to see what companies they are from. So you can really get a good gauge of which of the companies at each of your buildings are really the most engaged with the program. And this can be very helpful. Sorry, maybe I jumped ahead a little bit here, Noemi, but this can be really, really helpful when it comes to renewal conversations, being able to share back with your tenants, that we can see that your employees have been engaging with the program at all of these different touch points throughout the year. And anyway,
Absolutely. We're always asked to provide some sorts of like ROI of our program. Engagement is very sometimes hard to quantify. We know that for a fact that the B program is very much appreciated. Like people, whenever they do CSAT at your building, you're running surveys. Like one thing they'll remember, and I'll always take this example from a New York City building we've worked with. They did all those amazing renovation, and then the people, the tenants of the building were like, one thing you love the most about this building, and the B program was like always this amazing like answers, and it was like which flattered us obviously. So yeah, that's one way of measuring the impact of the program. But what Emily just shared now is like seeing this engagement list, or like basically the subscriber to your page. You can see really who's engaging with the program, like what companies are engaging with the program. And on the opposite side, you can use this data to potentially highlight the companies that are not engaging with your program and or the building itself, and have very proactive conversation about engagement, renewals, so on and so forth. So that's amazing. One thing you showcase, Emily, and it's been a use case that we've been working on is, in a world where we all try to differentiate, make our building stand out, this is a great
Mhm.
place for whenever you have leasing team kind of touring buildings. Not only you're able to showcase the hive, which is a physical amenity, you get also honey jars that you can design yourself, or you can design that are like, the face of the
That's
building.
great.
They're honey from your own roof, and then you get this page that you can share with potential tenants. So it's always a good way to not only create awareness but kind of make your building definitely special for new people visiting. So, which is amazing. Thank you for showcasing the honey label design here. Amazing. I think we've covered very much what was new to the platform, the new features. There's probably tons of more stuff that we did not deep dive in. Emily, I think you're sharing the LinkedIn post here, so it's a little feature that we just had, so you can take your photos from directly from the MyHive page, and then you can push them onto your LinkedIn, so you don't have to plan your post ahead. It's done instantly, which is amazing. Thank you for showcasing this. Um, if we had to sum this up, Emily, like what are the key things that you want to say here to before we jump into the question and we make sure that we answers everyone question around Alvéole and around the platform itself?
Yeah, I think the most important thing my hope is that everyone's walking away with today is that uh, your alveole program is about so much more than just the beehive itself. A beehive on its own is an amenity, but the hive plus the in-person experiences plus the data that we offer and then the online engagement opportunities, that's when it really becomes a robust tenant engagement program. So my hope is that, yeah, everyone's walking away with more awareness and hopefully some inspiration for how to really maximize this whole online platform piece to our programs.
Yeah, and if I had to add something, I think it's we haven't yet today covered the biodiversity and nature aspect of what Alvéole.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
we'll keep this one for another time in another webinar. But what's the key piece I want people to leave it with today is like Alveol is to engagement, but we also do other product that are related to natures and
Yeah.
biodiversity for real estate. But yeah, so the component here is the engagement part,
Yeah.
and but we use and leverage the hive to also to monitor biodiversity around building, which is super helpful for if you're reporting to GRESB, other type of certification. If you have investor reporting or pressure to report on sustainability, we can help you with that as well. So without further introduction, or let's open the floor to questions. I think we have a few
Perfect.
in the chat here, and I don't want to
Great.
say anything. If anyone here has question about Alveole, feel free to ask them. We'll do our best to really answer them. All right, I have a question from Eliza. How tenant access the page? Do they need to create an account? Great question.
Oh, yeah, that is a great question. Um, Short answer, no. Tenants do not need to create an account to visit the page. So I've just toggled here to this tab that is showing the tenant view. So anyone at your building, whether they come across a QR code or they come across a link that maybe you share in a newsletter, they'll click that link. They'll end up here on the public page. They will be able to register for an event. If they do that, then we'll ask them to, let's click here and you'll be able to see. It'll ask you to, I'm already logged in, so do this, but it'll ask you to share your name, your email address, and your company so that you as the program organizer have visibility. Um, but so you don't need an account to visit the page.
Thank you. The second question we have is like, do you have recommendation for properties that only have wild bees and wild bee home and no hive? Ooh.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so the honeybee hive isn't the that we see right here next to me. It isn't the only amenity that we offer. We also offer these wild bee homes, and they support a whole other group of bee species that live solitary, um, solitary life cycles, and they don't live in these big colonies like honeybees do. And so I think there's a ton of opportunity with our wild bee homes to generate awareness about this great biodiversity indicator that wild bee homes are. Um, it's always exciting every year to see, with these wild bee homes, we're not installing honeybees at the site. We're actually giving nesting habitat for bees that already exist in the neighborhood. And so there's a lot of really great opportunities there to educate about the importance of providing habitat for surrounding species. When we do have nesting in the bee homes, really awesome to do kind of deep dives on who those insects are, how they're building these nests. Some of them use flower petals, some of them use grass or mud. So there's a lot of really cool nature education that can happen through these bee homes, and it's very exciting in a way because it touches on so many different species versus, um, you know, solely the honeybees who are fascinating in and of themselves, but the bee homes have so much to offer. And I'd also be happy, if you are someone who has wild bee homes at your site, please feel free to reach out after the webinar too, and we're always happy to help give some guidance for how you can really maximize.
Yeah, maybe to jump on this too. I think maybe to make it clear for everyone in the room, either you're choosing, honeybee hive, or you're choosing a wild pollinator habitat. Like both will come with also a My Hive page, so you'll have
Yeah.
so basically, we attach one access to the platform or access to the platform to any of the properties that you have. So it doesn't matter either you choose to have the honeybee hive or the other ones, you'll still have access to the engagement tool. So yeah. Um, okay,
Oh,
what else?
I just saw
Yes,
one
please.
exciting question just from Julie
Yeah,
relating to the wild bee homes. Um, yeah, first off, we could definitely follow up afterwards and explore pricing for adding wild bee homes to your site. But definitely there are special topics that we offer for our events that relate to the wild bee homes specifically. And so you can definitely have both wild bee homes and a honeybee hive at your site to really complement all of these different species.
absolutely. And for pricing, Julie, we will follow up with you. It depends if you're deploying on one property itself, the type of package you're choosing. If you have extended properties you want to go for. All our pack like our base package will are under 10K. So like I'll say that as a price range, but there's always room for discussion on that one. And if a company was to get a da, 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 yes, exactly, Emily, you answered that. I think we had another question which just kept. Do you have recommendation for properties that only have wild bee homes and no beehives? Ooh.
Oh, yeah. To my mind, we were just sort of answering to that question, but yeah, I can definitely Nicole can follow up too with like further guidance on how to really maximize yeah, educational and kind of promotional opportunities when you only have those wild bee homes on your site and no honeybee hive.
Absolutely. And I think that's important to remember that there's a lot of certification for Nicole's question that will privilege wild pollinators habitat, I should say. So super important in the context of certification, I should say. So it's a benefit to have wild beehives.
Yeah, and one thing too that I'll just plug about wild bee homes as well is that because these are solitary bee species that nest in these homes, you're often able to have your wild bee homes in a super visible, super foot trafficked place. The activity around the bee homes is very different than that around a honeybee hive. So it's a great way of adding even more visibility to your program by, having your honeybee hive, um, in a location where folks won't be directly surrounding the hive, but then you can have your wild bee homes in a more public facing place. And there's actually little drawers where you can go and pull out and observe nesting that's taking place.
Absolutely. It's great. I've seen some in Manhattan directly, like in front of buildings. So as a
Yeah.
community pollinators, so it's always impressive. Amazing. So I don't think we have any other questions. Thank you everyone for joining. We're right on time. Um, uh, Thank you, Kevin. Excellent presentation. We have Kevin here from the Woolworth, our most bee-friendly advocate here. Thank you, Kevin, for joining. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Emily, for walking us through the platform itself. I'll drop our emails directly in the chat. If you have any question, you can feel free to email us at info@alvéole.buzz. I'll drop my email as well so everyone can have it, and I can happily answer any question you have about either pricing or packaging. Emily can do the same as well too. If you have any opening question for the rest, thank you guys so much for joining. We'll send you the recording right after. And yeah, voila. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks, Noemi. This was really fun.
Absolutely. Cheers to more. Bye, guys.